What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. I'm back to show y'all another beat that I did. Before I get into the beat, I want to thank all of you guys for helping me get to 200 subscribers and getting a couple of my videos up to 1,000 views. Might be low numbers compared to some of the other YouTubers and the other creators, but it means the world to me. I always wanted to thank you guys for that. If you're new here, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and let's get right into it. So this is a beat that I've already dropped on my channel and on my Beatstars account, but every time I play it back, I just love it even more than I did when I first made it. So I figured I might as well tell y'all how I made it. This is one of those Drake beats that he gets on and just starts rapping. You know, one of those dark, slow, melodic, and soulful beats that he likes to rap on. You know, what we all like to call those timestamp beats. I call this one 4 a.m. in Santorini just because Greece is a destination spot that I just want to visit. So I couldn't think of nothing other than that. So that's what I went with. So the first things first, I lowered the tempo down to 97. And then I started with the chords. The first VST I used was Scalar. Scalar has a sound called soft piano, which is a very ambient, mellow piano that will give you those kind of sad vibes and sultry vibes that you feel. So that was the first sound I used. And honestly, I just played around with the keys on my keyboard and until I found chords that I just liked. And then I played around with some of the notes myself just so they can get a feel. So, and this is the initial chord progression I came up with. I knew I didn't want every single note to hit on the line, so I just strummed them for effect, and then I played with the velocity. And I knew I didn't want each chord to play all the way out, so that's why I added this chord here to give it some variation. Next thing I did was go ahead and add some effects to it. First thing I did was just add an EQ where I rolled out all the low end and dipped the mid just a bit. Then next I added this vintage chorus. I've been using vintage chords a lot. It's one of those new stock plugins for FL Studios. It came out on one of the more recent patches they just did, and I've been using it a lot lately. I highly recommend just trying it out and see what you come up with. And after I did those two things, this is what it came out to be. See, that took out a lot of the low end, a lot of rumble that initial piano has, and it added some harmonics to it with some saturation. So I like that sound. The next thing I did was add some more keys with Analog Lab. I went to the Bank Confessions 1 by, I believe his name is Kavi. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. He has this one key sound called Drunk Texting. Sounds perfect. I just layered these keys over the initial melody, but instead of strumming them, I just left them the way they were because they sounded like a pad a little bit. And for that sound, I took out the low end and the high end, and then I added on the Pancake 2 VST just so it would go in one ear and to the other ear. And together, this is what it sounds like. And like that, it sounds way more softer than if I just left it alone. The next thing I did was I rendered it out and made it to an audio file, and then I reversed it, and then I pitched it down 200 cents. Now, after I pitched and reversed the sample, I went ahead and went to Splice and found a vocal sample because you can't have a Drake beat without a vocal sample. And so this is what it sounds like. After that, I just pitched it up a whole octave just so we can get a higher sound. After I grabbed my vocal sample, all I did was throw an EQ on there where I rolled out all the high end and the low end, threw on the reverb, and played with the knobs, and threw on Fruity Delay 3 and lowered the output wet knob damn near to 0, just so it wouldn't be so up front. Then I reversed the vocals and then I rendered it all out together with the melody. And that came out to be this. Now with this melody, what else I did with it after I rendered everything out together, I did a Uno reverse and made it go back forward, and then I pitched it up 200 cents from where it was originally. And so it was playing normal, but the vocals were playing backwards. Then not only did I did that, I lowered the sample rate to 2500, I believe. After that, I added a perc loop just so I could add more texture to the beat. And now that I'm thinking about it, for some reason, I feel like I should have had the perc loop before I rendered everything out, just so it could really be playing in the background. But it's too late now. I'm not gonna change it. It's already out there. After that, I just added a simple drum pattern. Next, I added the vocal sample, again, the same one, but chopped it up and just rearranged it how I wanted it to be arranged. Then all together, you have the beat known as 4 AM in Santorini. The only other things I added to this beat was I added the bass, just kind of a simple bass line, didn't go too crazy. And then I added FL keys for a few notes just to give it a little extra razzle dazzle to it. Didn't need to add too much more to it. And that is all I did for this beat. And like I said, the more I listen to it, the more I love it so much that I just felt like I just had to share it. So if you haven't heard this beat, go ahead and click the link wherever it pops up and vibe out to it. And if you please leave me a comment, tell me how you feel about it. If you liked it, if you hated it, what you would do different to it. Also, tell me what you do to stop from tinkering with beats after you've already finished, because that's how I end up fucking up all my beats, is I keep messing with it after they should be done. And like always, please comment, like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, and I'll be back with another beat.